Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to your very first Civics session for CBSE 10 for this academic year. And welcome to today's session. I am Amirash and I teach you science and social science on this amazing platform of the AI world. I hope all of you are taking care of yourselves, all of you are staying healthy, all of you are staying happy and studying with me. Okay, so guys, what are we gonna do today? Today we'll be covering the chapter power sharing in one shot. So you wouldn't have to look for the second part, the third part. In one shot, we'll be covering the whole chapter line by line in CERT, and my notes will help you to score 100% in your board exams. So the name of the chapter, as you know, is power sharing, and what topics we are gonna do, that I will be sharing in a minute. But before that, I have also covered resources and development complete chapter. In case you haven't watched, do watch it. The link would be given in the description box. Okay, so what are the topics that we'll be dealing with? The agenda for today. See, number one, the case studies of Belgium and Sri Lanka, which are given in your NCERT, very important. So we'll be doing them. Okay, then the second thing we will be doing, that why power sharing is desirable. We'll be learning about this. What is so important in sharing the power, and third, forms of power sharing. So with this, if this will be clear, then your 50% marks you will gain here, and from here you will be getting your 50% of the marks. These three questions, from here you can frame multiple questions. From here one fixed question will be there, from here also fixed questions will be there. No more a tricky part. In this, probably you may have value based questions as well, which will be there as per your understanding and the concepts that you will be learning. But I will make sure that you are going to score full marks today. So please, nobody is going to skip the video. The people who are watching it in the premiere form have to pay full 100% attention. You need to give me your 100% attention, and I will make sure that you will score 100 on 100 in your board exams. That's why I kept it as a premiere, because in live session, if connectivity issues occurred, then the understanding would be hampered. So to avoid that, let's go with premiere sessions as well. Okay, so let's get started with the case studies of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Very important. These are the two small countries. Okay, Belgium and Sri Lanka. They are small countries, but the complexities in them is going to be very high, and we'll be learning about them only. That how is it related to power sharing of power. Let's see. Now first, coming to Belgium. See, Belgium is a small country in Europe. Actually, if I talk about the specific location, then it will be located in Western Europe. If you have seen the map of Europe, I couldn't attach today, but next time I will attach. So Belgium is located at the Western Europe and is a very small country. It shares borders with France, Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg. So these are the four countries with which Belgium shares its border. And now coming to the population of Belgium, you should know these are some of the facts that I have attached. Please take a screenshot so that you can know. Now, what is the population of Belgium? Little over 1 crore, half the population of Haryana. So you can imagine Haryana's population is around 2 crore and its population is little more than 1 crore. So just imagine such a small country. But if I talk about ethnic composition, that is very complex. But then you'll ask, what is the ethnic composition and what is the meaning of this word ethnic? Let me tell you. See, basically ethnic means it is a social division. Okay, a division based on shared culture. See, how is the culture shared? When people belonging to the same ethnic group believe in their common descent. So they have something in common. Okay, this is important, common descent. But what is that common thing? Because of similarities of physical type of or of culture, or both. Maybe physically they are similar, or maybe culturally. So what are the two types? Either physically, or the second one, that will be culturally. Clear everyone? Write them down in your notebook. Start writing. See, learn ethnic. What is ethnic? Social division based on shared culture. Social division based on shared culture. Learn right now. And By this, if this much is clear to you, social division based on shared culture, it means people will find similarities between them because the culture is almost the same. Okay, although, but there is a condition over here. Try to understand the condition. The condition is they need not always have the same religion or nationality. Even Indians and Americans can form ethnic groups. Americans. Sorry for my handwriting, just ignore. Indians and Americans. And even the religion, even you can say the Hindus and Muslims can form these communities. Okay, so I hope ethnic is clear. Now here, coming to this part, ethnic composition is very complex. Now ethnic composition means people belonging to the people having the same culture. So that composition was very complex because it was diverse because of the diversity. Now you will say in India also we have the diversity, but everything is accepted. There it wasn't that case. Let's see now. Now we'll be understanding the ethnic composition of Belgium. What was so complex in Belgium that we are studying about it? And I will make sure that you are understanding it 100%. Okay. Now see, just try to understand, focus on the slide. If I am talking about Belgium, then 59% of the people were Dutch speaking. The people who used to speak Dutch, 59%. Understood? Give me a thumbs up there. Then 40% of the people used to speak French. 40% of the people were French speaking. And the rest 1% of the people were German speaking. So are you able to understand the diversity? It is so diverse. Dutch speaking were in the majority and French speaking were in the minority. But now you will ask that what is the problem? In India also we have various people of different religions and different castes. Then what is the problem over here? Let me tell you. But this was the composition of the whole country. But if I am talking about the capital city Brussels, what was, see, in capital city is only going to have all the important things and discussions going on. In that 80% of the people were French speaking. They used to speak French, whereas 20% were Dutch speaking. So just reverse. Okay, this is the reverse condition. Now here Dutch people were in majority in Belgium, in the whole country. But when we come to the Brussels, which is the capital city of Belgium, please learn, capital city of Belgium, in this French people were in majority, Dutch people were in minority. So can you able to see the differences? This rose to complexity. Now how, what exactly happened, that I will be discussing. Just note down this. Note it down? Good job. Now see, in your NCRT this map is given. See, the Dutch people used to live in the Flemish region. Okay, you can see here, this is the Flemish region. So this yellow part, this yellow, this is your Dutch, this region. And this Wallonia region, the French people used to live in the Wallonia region, this red one. This is your Wallonia region where French people used to live. Okay, and this part which has been highlighted, this is your German speaking area. Okay, now coming to something very important. See, the French people community, they were very rich and powerful. They had a lot of money as well as power. Because if you are rich, you get that standard and that's why you become powerful. Clear? And you get good education, you get a good post. But this was resented by the Dutch speaking community. What the Dutch thought, that the Dutch people thought that in the whole country we are in the majority, we are 59% out of 100 and French people are only 40%. Then how is it possible that they are going to be rich and we middle class or poor? This is not fair. This led to tensions. This led to social tensions, social anxieties and tensions. Okay, Then in the whole country they could have managed, but then Brussels presented a special problem because in Brussels everything was opposite. The French people were in majority, the Dutch people were in minority, and this time, see, the difference is just of you can say 19%. Sorry, 19% in this 59 minus 40. But here 80 and 20, can you imagine the difference? French people were so much and Dutch people were so less. So that is why this led to problems. The Dutch speaking people constituted majority in the country. They were present in majority in the whole country, but minority in capital. But then how to resolve this problem? We will see if actually Belgium resolved or what steps the government took. Okay, but before that, let's move to Sri Lanka. That what was the problem in Sri Lanka? I hope Belgium case is clear to you, because now we'll be moving on to the Sri Lankan case. Okay, so you know that Sri Lanka is an island nation. Okay, what is an island? I have told you, island is an area which is surrounded by water on all sides. Okay, so it was an island, it is an island nation and few kilometers away from Tamil Nadu coast. Just mention coast. Okay, the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay, and it has a diverse population just like Belgium, but here the case is going to be more critical. Let me write over here. Here the situation is more critical as compared to Belgium. Population is about 2 crores, same as the population of Haryana. So it is like the size is also the same as in Haryana. Okay, and ethnic composition is again very complex. So here also we have complexities just like Belgium. But here what is the problem? Like in Belgium, just now we discussed this. Just look at the map. This is the Brussels. Here everything was different. Dutch people were the majority. French people were in minority. So this was the problem. And French were very powerful and rich. Dutch weren't. Here, if I talk about the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka, let's try to understand that. That is more important. See, in Sri Lanka, 74% of the people spoke Sinhala. They spoke Sinhala. Sinhala speaking people, 74% in majority. Clear? Then the 18% of the people were Tamil speaking. So these 18 people were in minority. Clear? But here something else is going to happen. Just imagine. Just think whatever I'm telling. Just imagine yourself a Sri Lankan or a Belgian and just think this will be fixed in your mind. You would never be able to forget this. I'm guaranteeing you. See, now we discussed that 18% were Tamils. But here also we have certain bifurcation. What is the bifurcation? Then that out of these Tamils, 13% were the Sri Lankan Tamils, who were the natives of Sri Lanka, and 5% constituted the Indian Tamils, who either migrated or had to come here for the plantation work during the colonial period. Okay, they had to shift to Sri Lanka. So this was the case over here in Tamils. Now coming to the religion. So the religion, the Sinhalese were Buddhists. They used to believe in Lord Buddha, whereas Tamils were Hindus also and Muslims also. And one more religion that is there in Sri Lanka is their Christians. Christians were both Sinhala people also and Tamil people also. So Christians were both, and they constituted 7% of the population of the nation. Getting it? Just remember the 7% of the population, religion, Sinhalese, Buddhists, Tamils, Hindus, Muslims. Okay, now just look at this map which is given in your NCERT. See, Sinhalese, Sri Lankan Tamil, Indian Tamil and Muslim. So see, you are able to see Sinhalese are there all around the country, whereas Sri Lankan Tamils are mostly there in north and northeastern parts. They are accumulated over here in north and northeastern part, whereas the Sinhalese are there generally in the central part and south parts, south and west. Okay, they are there, and here we have Indian Tamils also in between some portion, Muslims also at a very, like, they are not present much. Clear? And what happens next then? We discussed the problem in Belgium about Dutch and French. We also discussed the problem in Sri Lanka about the Sinhalese people and the Tamil people. But then what happened next? What is going to happen next? Are you excited? If you want to know, click on the like button right away, give your attendance. Those of you who are present have to like the video so that your attendance will be marked. Okay, now we'll be learning majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, this was the solution to the problem. Majoritarianism. By this word only, you are able to see it has to deal with majority. It is something to deal with the majority, and majority were Sinhala people. I hope this is visible, I think, or wait. Let me change my color so that it can be visible. And majority were the Sinhala speaking people. So something has to be done with this, but what? Let's understand. See, Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. Please underline this in your book. I think I've taken this from NCRT. See, in 1948, it emerged as an independent country. It got its independence. So the leaders of the Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over government by virtue of their majority. So what the Sinhala people thought, that we are in majority. And they were the kind of a people who used to think majority is always going to win because we are more in number. We are like 74% in number. So we will only win. So we should be dominant over the government because of our majority. As a result, the democratically elected government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. So you can imagine Sinhalas were the Sinhalese people. They were overconfident as well as they became egoistic. Okay, because of their majority. Now, what is majoritarianism? Let's understand that. So, generally, what is majoritarianism? It is a belief, it is a thinking that the majority community should be able to rule a country in whichever way it wants by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority. So, what? Just understand it, you will learn by your own, and guarantee you. See, the majority community should be able to rule a country. Whatever country, the majority community should be able to rule. First point. And it is going to rule, but disregarding, just ignoring the needs of the minority, just thinking about themselves. So this is a kind of a mean behavior as well, just thinking about themselves and behaving in whatever way, making whatever laws without thinking about the minority. Clear? So the same happened with Tamil citizens that we will be learning. Okay, now in 1956, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding Tamil. So can you imagine that see what happened? Sinhala, which is the language of Sinhalese people, it was recognized as the official language. In India, we have 22 languages, among which two are the official, Hindi and English. But still, we are not disregarding the other languages, isn't it? We have accepted them. But in Sri Lanka, they disregarded Tamil. Can you imagine? The 18% Tamil citizens would feel so bad. Okay. The governments followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs. A new constitution stipulated that the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. Now see, they also said, what was the constitution saying? That the policies, what they said, that the Sinhala people are going to be favored, the applicants for university positions and government jobs. So in government jobs also, Sinhala people will be favored over Tamil people. So you can imagine. And even the new constitution stated that it is going to protect and foster Buddhism. But they did not mention about Hinduism and Islam. Okay, these weren't mentioned. So can you imagine how the Tamil people would feel? Let's see what happens next. All these government measures coming one after the other gradually increased the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. Now, what is alienation, people? See, when you feel alienated, it means you feel alone. You feel helpless. They started feeling that our culture, our language is not getting respect. Why? Because they were watching in front of their eyes that Sinhal. First thing, let me explain you. I have to change my orientation for that. Now just understand what happened. First thing, they made Sinhala as their official language. Only Sinhala. Okay, only Sinhala. Then in government jobs and universities, Sinhalese people were favored. Okay, then what happened? That Buddhism was promoted and fostered. Buddhism was fostered, and the constitution did not talk about Hinduism and Islam at all. So, in such a case, don't you think that the minority would feel alienated? They would feel very bad. Even you imagine if you are in place of the Tamil people, you would feel very bad. Okay, now let me change my orientation. All right. Okay, now next, they felt that none of the major political parties led by Buddhist Sinhala leaders were sensitive to their culture and language. As I told you, they did not want their culture. Their culture wasn't accepted. They felt very, very alienated, and like they are living in a solitude or what. Okay, they felt that the constitution and government policies denied them equal political rights, discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities, and ignored their interests. So they started feeling that there is some kind of discrimination going on in the country. Along with that discrimination, there is a lot of inequality. They started feeling this. Whether if I am talking about the jobs, whether I am talking about education, whether I'm talking about their interests, the political rights which they deserve as they are the citizens of Sri Lanka, but they were denied. As a result, the relations between the Sinhala and Tamil communities strained over time. The relations between them deteriorated and they started becoming enemies. Okay, and even you would become if you wouldn't get equal political rights and you would be discriminated against. Clear? Now, something very, very important that the Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggles for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. But the demand for more autonomy to provinces populated by the Tamils was repeatedly denied. Now, see, the Sri Lankan parties, let me change my orientation to explain in the best possible manner. See, the Sri Lankan parties, what they did, let me change the color. Which color? Let's say blue. The Tamils, let's say the Tamils. First of all, they formed parties and they protested. Okay, they protested for, you can say, recognition. Or 1 second, let me do I have something? Okay, for recognition of Tamil as their language. Okay, for recognition of Tamil as an official language along with Sinhala, because you know that Sinhala was already there as their official language. They wanted that Tamil should also get the same recognition, as well as for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs, for maintaining the equality of a country. as well as for securing jobs. But unfortunately, this couldn't happen. Why? Because it was denied their 1 minute. Okay, their requests were repeatedly denied. Clear? Now, what is going to happen? Understand that. Let me move to the laser pointer so that I can explain. Uh, by 1980, several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil Elam state in northern and eastern parts of Sri Lanka. Now, see, the Sri Lankan Tamils were so tired of just begging, not begging, but struggling. But just look at their petty condition that they couldn't do whatever they wanted. So that's why finally they asked for an Elam, for a state. Let's see, if you look at the map over here, we are able to see that in the northern part and northern eastern part, it is populated with the Tamil people. So they wanted that this portion should be given to them. Sri Lanka should be divided into two parts. Okay, wherever they are accumulated more, that part should be given to them. But was this allowed or not? No. Again, okay. See that now what happens? The distrust between the two communities turned into widespread conflict. It soon turned into a civil war. It's very, very important. I'm highlighting it. This term, civil war, is very, very important. What is civil war? See, in a country, whenever such conflicts occur and when they take a violent form, let me change the orientation for explaining. Okay. See, whenever they are going to take violent form, these conflicts, whenever they're going to take the violent form, then these conflicts will turn into a civil war. Civil, the war between the citizens of a country. Okay, the war between the Sri Lankan people and the Tamil people. The war between them. Clear? See, as a result, thousands of people of both the communities have been killed. They died because of the war. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many more lost their livelihoods. They lost their homes, everything. Okay, now just now in development chapter, you have read about Sri Lanka's excellent record of economic development, education, and health, but the civil war has caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural, and economic life of the country. Because of the civil war, the citizens have suffered a lot. Okay, now in Sri Lanka, now you are going to ask, let me tell you one more thing, that in 2007 the war ended. Is my camera clear? Okay, fine. In 2007 the war ended, but this took such a long time for the Tamils to be recognized. Finally they were recognized. It's a happy ending. Okay, coming to accommodation in Belgium. So Belgium Belgium people were very intelligent, very smart. They took another action. They took another step, which was helpful. What did they do? They took a different path. Their path wasn't like Sri Lankan people. They recognized the existence of regional differences and cultural diversities. So what they did, they recognized. It means उनके आंखें खुल गई कि डच पीपल भी हैं एंड फ्रेंच पीपल भी हैं एंड दोनों को इक्वल रिस्पेक्ट मिलनी चाहिए. Their eyes got open, and that's why they accepted their regional differences and the cultural diversities. Between 1970 and 1999, they amended their constitution 4 times so as to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. So they wanted harmony in the country. They didn't want destruction. Okay, that's why they changed their constitution 4 times. Can you imagine? Okay. And what was their main aim? So that everyone is going to be able to live together peacefully within the same country without any division, without any civil war. The arrangement they worked out is differently from any other country and is very innovative. Okay, their government is known as community government. We'll be learning about this form of a government. Okay, now what were the elements of Belgium model? Let's try to understand. So the elements of Belgium model. Now number one, see, both French and Dutch got equal representation in central government. So now try to understand that we knew in the whole country, Dutch were in majority, French were in minority. Whereas in Brussels, French people were in majority and Dutch people were in minority. So what they decided, that both French and Dutch are going to get equal representation in central government. See, the Dutch people, what they did, although in the whole Belgium they were more in number, but they also gave the French people the opportunity to be there to represent in the central government. So the French people said, okay, if you are allowing us, we will also allow you in Brussels. So in Brussels, French people became kind and they allowed the Dutch people to be there in equal representation in the government. So in this manner, everything got balanced. Then this was the first point. Now second point, many powers of central government have been given to the state government. Okay, so state wise, because we know as the map says, this part is your Dutch region, this part is your French region. So different states are going to be there. So they also had power and they looked after the, you can say, linguistic differences, as well as they looked after the development of their particular state along with equal representation, clear, in each state. Okay, this is done. Last, separate government in Brazil with equal representation of both community. See, now just let me change my orientation so that I can explain in the best possible manner. Okay, now see what happens in Brazil. We just now read 80% French, 20% Dutch. So in Belgium, the government was different. In Brussels, it was different because of differences. So here also the representation was equal. Sorry for the spelling. Yeah. So 80% French are going to be there, 20% Dutch, but in the government, 50% French, 50% Dutch, and even German people. Okay, German people were also not neglected. Many people will ask, German people कहाँ गए? So कहीं नहीं गए, वहीं है, कुछ ज़्यादा खास नहीं है, but just the German people were only 1%. So not that representation, but yes. So now you must be thinking it is so complicated. In Belgium this, then Brussels this. Oh, खुद ही confuse हो जाते होंगे ना? How many of you think this? कि वो बेल्जियम वाले लोग खुद सोचते होंगे कि अरे यार हमने कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मॉडल बनाया है, हाँ इतनी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी में कैसे जिए, बट जी तो रहे हैं. It indeed is very complicated even for people living in Belgium, but these arrangements have worked well so far. See, we have heard a phrase, something is better than nothing. अगर श्रीलंका के केस में होता तो फिर पूरा तबाही मच जाता. At least here we don't have destruction, at least here we have a community government. And peace is there. Till now it has worked very nicely. They help to avoid civic strife between the two major communities and a possible division of the country on linguistic lines. Linguistic lines means the language differences, because the languages were different. Sorry. So the differences like this. Clear hai? If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. So now we have completed this. Last one. Let me change my pen. Okay, when many countries of Europe came together to form European Union, Brussels was chosen as its headquarters. So this is the European Union. It is a union which is formed by the European countries, and Brussels is its headquarters. Understood, people? I hope the case study of Belgium and Sri Lanka is clear to you. It took a lot of time. How much time it took? Let me see. Oh my god, 34 minutes. 34 minutes lag gaye. Ab jaldi se finish karenge, okay? We don't have much time. Sorry. Okay. Now the second topic, that why power sharing is desirable. By this you are able to see कि अगर power को share नहीं करेंगे तो स्थिति आपकी condition हो जाएगी श्रीलंका जैसी. Okay. So generally there are two reasons. One is the prudential reason, which talks about logics, and moral reason, which talks about emotionally, psychologically. This is talking logic. So what is the prudential reason? That power sharing helps us to reduce the possibility of conflicts between the social groups. And between the social groups, like we talked about Sri Lanka, they did not share the power, destruction हुआ. बेल्जियम ने पावर शेयर की थी, सब सही रहा. There was no war. Getting it? So in this manner, conflicts were reduced, although the system was complicated. Now, on the other hand, what the moral reason says that power sharing is the spirit of every democracy. If a democratic country is there, then that country has to share the power. Power cannot be accumulated in the hands of few. बस दो तीन लोगों के हाथ में पावर दे देंगे तो वो उनका मिसयूज करेंगे. They are going to misuse their power. That's why power should be shared. Clear, everyone? With this you have scored 2 marks, 2 crucial marks. Now, last topic for today. Let's finish it up quickly, then we'll end. Forms of power sharing. Like we have read about Belgium and Sri Lanka, that how they shared their power, but actually what are the different forms in which we can share the power? There are 4 forms. What are they? Let's learn about them. See, number 1, horizontal distribution. Number 2, vertical distribution. Number 3, among social groups, among different social groups. Number 4, among political parties and pressure groups. Now let us try to understand each one of them in detail. Now, number 1, horizontal distribution. Now in this, what is going to happen? That all of them are equally powerful. One important point. What comes under it? The legislature, executive and the judiciary. In this manner, the power is getting distributed among executive, legislature, judiciary. Legislator makes laws, executive executes them, and judiciary takes care that everybody is following the laws. So this maintains checks and balances. And in this, they are equally powerful and they can make sure that that all of them are going to work properly, and they can check others as well. Okay, now coming to the vertical distribution. Even in horizontal, you can remember by this. So horizontal, all are equal. In vertical, we will be having different division. Now see, vertical distribution is your central government, your state government. Central will be of the whole nation, national, like India's, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state-wise, on the state level. 2 or more, see in vertical we have 2 or more, like vertical. Okay, here you can have 2 or more. In horizontal, all are at the same level. Here we have 2 or more tiers or levels of government. In federalism, I'll teach you in detail. Okay, do not worry. Central government, which has different parts. State government has different parts. So this is known as a vertical distribution of power. If this is clear, then give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay. Now amongst different social groups, how is power shared among different social groups? By giving them different opportunities and by a process which is known as, what is it? I don't have space to write, so I will just change my orientation. Okay, yeah. The process is going to be known as reservation. See, reservation of seats for the different social groups like SC, ST, the OBCs. Okay, reservation is there so that they are also going to feel empowered. Yes, that we also have power, we are equal, because in a democracy this is very important. So there is a system of reserved constituencies we read in class 9. If you could recall in elections chapter, many constituencies are reserved for these groups, and because of this they do not feel alienated. They feel that we are there in the nation and we are empowered. Clear hai? Let me change my orientation again. Okay, perfect. Now second is among the political parties, pressure groups and movements. See, like interest groups such as industrialists, traders, farmers, etc. So power is shared among these people also. also sharing amongst various movement groups. So like the people who do different movements are related to that, so power is shared among them as well. So you can imagine in a country like India, we have different people. So it is very, very important to preserve their interests. Like industrialists, they also need some kind of a power. The traders need, the farmers need, etc. And if we are not going to offer them the power, they will feel alienated. They will feel very, very bad. And this will show our insensitivity, that we are not treating them equally. There is some kind of discrimination, and whenever discrimination is there or some kind of inequality, then a democracy is not a true democracy. Okay, so with this, we've finished with the chapter. Thank you so much for attending my session. Now it is the time to say goodbye. Let me give you the homework question. What will you tell me? You will tell me, you will summarize. Why am I unable to write? Okay, let me speak. You are going to summarize the case studies of Sri Lanka and Belgium in short. This is your homework. Thank you so much. We'll meet soon with another session. Until then, bye bye. Take care, everyone. Good night.